What if the world map you know is only temporary? What if every country, every ocean, and every border is slowly moving toward a future that looks impossible today? Right now, beneath your feet, the ground is drifting. Not by meters, not even by centimeters, but by tiny amounts so small you never notice them. Yet those movements are quietly reshaping the future of Earth. 200 million years ago, our planet looked completely different. Every continent was fused into a single giant supercontinent called Pangaea. Then something extraordinary happened. It broke apart. Oceans opened. Mountains rose. Entire worlds were created. Most people think that story ended long ago. But here's the strange part. It didn't. The continents never stopped moving. At this very moment, North America, Africa, Europe, Asia, Australia, Antarctica, and South America are all drifting across Earth's surface like giant puzzle pieces floating on a sea of molten rock. The movement is slow, about as fast as your fingernails grow. But over millions of years, slow becomes unstoppable. And that raises a terrifying question. What happens when all those continents meet again? Scientists believe another collision is already underway. The world isn't moving away from another Pangaea. It's moving toward one. Imagine waking up one morning in a future where oceans have vanished and continents have fused into a single colossal landmass stretching across the planet. A place where walking from North America to Africa is possible. A place where today's borders no longer exist. But that's not even the craziest part. Because when continents collide, they don't do it quietly. And what happens next changes everything. The moment the continents begin their final reunion, Earth transforms into something almost unrecognizable. Australia slams into Asia. The Atlantic Ocean disappears. North America crashes into Africa. And suddenly, the map of the future looks like science fiction. Imagine standing in New York while wildlife from Africa migrates across connected land routes. Picture deserts, forests, and ecosystems merging in ways never seen before. Sounds fascinating. But here comes the twist. Every collision releases unimaginable pressure. As continents grind together, massive mountain ranges rise from the Earth. Not ordinary mountains. Himalayan-sized giants stretching thousands of kilometers across the supercontinent. And this is where it gets weird. The regions sitting along these collision zones become some of the most dangerous places on the planet. Earthquakes strike relentlessly. Volcanoes awaken. Entire landscapes are reshaped by fire and destruction. The green Appalachian Mountains could become towering volcanic peaks covered in snow, ash, and lava. But nature isn't finished yet. As the giant landmass grows, another problem emerges. Rain struggles to reach the center of the supercontinent. Moisture falls near the coasts before it can travel inland. The result? A vast interior dominated by heat and dryness. Life begins changing. Species that cannot adapt disappear. Ecosystems collapse and reform. The world becomes harsher, hotter, and far less predictable. Everything humanity once considered normal starts fading away. But hidden beneath this new supercontinent is a force even more powerful than earthquakes and volcanoes. A force preparing to tear the entire world apart again. And that's when the real surprise begins. Just when it seems the continents have finally completed their journey, the story takes an unexpected turn. Because supercontinents aren't permanent. In fact, their greatest enemy comes from below. Deep inside Earth, enormous currents of molten rock continue moving beneath the crust. They never stop. They never rest. And over time, they become powerful enough to break apart entire continents. What happens next changes everything. Volcanic eruptions intensify. Massive fractures appear across the supercontinent. Earthquakes split regions that were once connected. The same forces that brought the continents together begin pulling them apart. It's a cycle that has repeated throughout Earth's history. Build, break, repeat. And here's the shocking revelation. The continents we live on today may only be temporary versions of Earth's design. Scientists already believe another future supercontinent could emerge roughly 300 million years from now. They even have a name for it. Pangaea Ultima. A future world where today's nations, coastlines, and oceans exist only in history books. Think about that for a moment. Everything familiar could vanish. Every map could become obsolete. Every border could disappear. The world your descendants inherit may look more alien than another planet. But perhaps the biggest mystery isn't whether Pangaea Ultima will form. It's what life will look like when it does. Will humanity still be here to witness it? Will entirely new species dominate the planet? Or will the next supercontinent create challenges no civilization can survive? The continents are already moving. The countdown has already started. The only question is, what kind of world will be waiting when they finally arrive?